5 seconds.
The stream is live.
We are live.
Everybody.
Hey, everybody. Sorry we're late. You know, it's Pam and Susie, always the ladies. They've been in hair and makeup all this time. So we're finally here. But no, seriously, I had some sound problems and, you know, we're just chit-chatting back here. So we're here now. I'm going to forego saying hello to everybody in the chat individually, but welcome everybody, especially mods and members. And thanks to everybody for showing up. And saying hello to everybody in the chat. I hear feedback. Somebody got their volume too high.
Somebody has YouTube open.
Or mute your volume.
Volume has to be off.
It's not me this time.
Oh, we got it.
Got it? Okay.
Someone got it.
But I've been excited to have these guys on. I've been asking them, and they're very, very busy growing a channel themselves. But I've been asking Taren and Eistan to come on for a couple months, probably maybe longer, and I found them on TikTok. And I told you guys I hang out over there some. There's some awesome reptile. I don't really do fish on TikTok at all, just the reptiles. But anyway, I love their live streams, and they're a wealth of knowledge. And basically, they have a zoo, a reptile zoo. They have other things in it, and it's mobile, but they found a stationary location. And it's amazing what they have. So I'm going to shut up and let them talk. And that's a shallow and brief introduction, but I'll let them tell more about. So guys, go ahead.
All right. So Easton, do you want to talk or you want me to do it?
Go ahead.
Okay. We're Reptile 101. We are a fully interactive reptile exhibit. We're located in Morven, North Carolina. We did start out in October 2019 as a mobile exhibit. We have a 24-foot car hauler that we decked out in full enclosures that are like zoo quality or reptarium quality enclosures that we would take to different events, birthday parties, stuff like that, schools. And then just a couple months ago, we were able to get a stationary location, and we have built out in that. I have 10 years professional reptile background, and then I've been keeping for 22 years. And Easton has some reptile keeping the last almost 6 years with me, but he also does exotic mammals and is specialized in helping build zoos. We both have built zoos, but he's done it more and doing lots of like big cats and pachyderms and things like that, primates. Easton.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Little.
Yeah, I'm just listening. You covered pretty much everything that I was going to say, though.
Oh, okay. But we're an educational facility. We're interactive, and we like to teach people while they get to meet the animals.
Yep.
So they can actually come to your facility?
Yes, we are open to the public.
And you're in North Carolina?
Yes, we do charge. We have a cover fee, but it's staggered. So the cover fees vary based on what you want to do. So people who want to look, we actually don't have a set price. We do a contribution only. And then our set prices are for touching, and they still get 10 to 15 animals for that set admission.
What's the town again that you're in? So
Morven, Morven, middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I think they're about 6 hours for me, but I really want to make a day trip over there sometime.
We're right off of, so we're literally like 2 blocks off of Highway 52 running through North Carolina, or if you were coming up from like South Carolina area, you would hit 145, and we're off of 145, and then we're 8 miles off of 74.
It's only 8.5 hours away from me.
Yeah.
You come and play with some of the animals.
I would love that.
Come see the baby.
What gave you, this is real informal. You figured that out, of course, by now, but what gave you the ideal, Taren, to get into this and to start a zoo?
Oh man, that is there's so many facets to the answer to that. The short answer is I worked for a crappy reptile education guy, and he fired me under a guise. I was working for him, and a kid had a corn snake on her neck and a bearded dragon had scratched her. I was at like a daycare, and the mother called him saying that I let the corn snake strangle the child, and there were ligature marks on the child from the bearded.
I
We all
know.
know corn snakes don't strangle, period.
No.
So I got fired. I got fired from that job. So that being said, the reason I got fired was because this man had alligators in New York, and at a certain size, alligators can no longer be used in education in New York. And he was telling his employees to just go shoot them. And I was throwing an ever-loving fit to other employees because we're like across the US. He had like hired us to like go do these parties, and he would buy the animals and he would buy the equipment and he would have us do the parties and make a commission off of them. And this guy was like branching out, and he's in a lot of states. It's actually really scary. But I was so disgusted because I had worked for a couple other guys that aren't great either. And I became so disgusted with the way that our industry was being treated by a lot of people that I decided I wanted to open something that was going to be seen totally different than those guys and be better and bigger. I actually thought about opening in his main area just to piss him off, but I ended up opening out here. So that's the short version of a very long answer.
And I think you were in Texas before North Carolina. Yep.
We actually, Easton and I came up with the idea to do the mobile exhibit while still living in Texas. And it was being built while we lived in Texas, the trailer and the enclosures. And then we picked the trailer up in Louisiana from our friend who was building most of it for us, like the enclosure part. And we took it back to Texas. We loaded the animals into their enclosures. Then we moved out here.
Awesome. Anybody panel or anybody in the chat have any questions? Because my next one is, can you show us some critters?
I was just going to say the same thing, Bob.
If you want to see some critters, you're going to want to switch over to Easton's camera.
Okay. I wish there was a way, and there probably is, that I could have you both up there, but I don't want to get too technical. And
All right, guys.
But hey, Easton.
All right, so I'm gonna keep it up here so you guys can kind of see. Sorry, I'm in the back
Turn
room.
my volume down before you get too close to me. Okay.
But these that we actually built ourselves, and then these right here. So these enclosures here. Be manipulated from staying in the stationary location, and then it can also be put back into the mobile zoo. So the mobile zoo actually houses all of these black cages. These, obviously, no, they don't ever go anywhere. We have our purple reticulated python. She's actually in here right now because she's sharing her enclosure with Sirius up there. These are both reticulated pythons. Reticulated pythons, the female is always going to be bigger than the male. So these guys are actually in here right now because they're breeding. This is Mushu. Mushu is our Nile monitor.
Can you not put the camera?
I don't know. Can I
Oh
put
my
this on,
God.
y'all?
Easton's doing weird stuff, man.
The
Let's see if I
sound,
can put this in.
something's
Oh,
with
I don't know. How do you keep it?
I don't think
How do you
I
make it big? Turn it sideways.
No, I mean like use the front facing camera.
Oh,
It won't
There's a
let me
little
flip it.
circle down in the corner, circular arrows down in the corner.
Then cut it?
can.
Camera. No. Yes. Okay, wait.
Oh, you're on StreamYard, so do camera and then.
There we go.
Okay, I got it. Hold on. Okay.
All right, guys. So you guys, this is Mushu. Mushu is our Nile monitor. He is close to 6 feet right now, but this entire enclosure is his. So everybody always asks, what's the perfect size for a certain species? We always decided just to go bigger. just because obviously they're going to grow, they're going to need more room, and might as well, if you can give it to them, so we do. But this is Mushu. He's a sweet little boy. I might actually take you guys in there with him in a minute. And then these two beautiful right here. So that's a green one. That is Jack Fawn. That is his girlfriend, Lucy. And they actually share their enclosures with a red-footed tortoise. So that what he's underneath right now is actually a heat panel that's radiating heat downward. That's why he's sitting over there in the corner. And these guys right here, this entire enclosure houses our dwarf QVA Cayman.
Wow.
So these guys actually come out of South America. So this is a dwarf species. So if you see that gentleman, the Cayman in the very, very back there, so he's actually an adult. He'll actually turn 11 this coming year. Max size for these guys is about 5 feet. And we built this literally all of this, me and Taren, with some help from our friends and everything back there. We can actually enter inside the enclosure from the back just to be safe, so the public doesn't push on any of the doors. These are enduring species, which means if they did decide to give you a little nip, probably wouldn't be too good. So we just said, you know what, we'll put the door back there. But they have the huge bay windows, so they get natural lighting during the daytime. This pond right here, it actually extends all the way to right here, so they can actually go under both sides. It's a little over 1,000 gallons.
What did you make that pond out of? Is it actually like a base and a liner, or is it hard plastic?
So this is really funny. Taren's excited to tell you this.
It's a hot tub. It doesn't work.
So I had to step away from her camera. It's actually an old hot tub that she found on Marketplace, and then we converted it into a pond.
Oh my God, that's great. Oh my God.
You'll always see these guys and everything where they say like, oh, you need at least $250,000 to sink into a zoo. We actually have a friend that has his own mill. All of this wood here was going to be burn off that he was just going to destroy. And Taren talked to him and did some trading, and we got all of this. I think we're only like $2,000 into this whole setup just right here. And then these doors are old freezer doors off of like convenience stores or cooler doors from like convenience stores and whatnot. So it's double paned red bud glass. So it is very, very durable. So it's compressed glass. So it can't shatter unless you just tip it just right on the corner. So it's perfect for larger species like Mushu and Tweety. And then we were like, you know, let's just go crazy. So we built all these, and we didn't have to sink an arm and a leg into it to get it done.
That's awesome.
And then all of these enclosures again. So all of these again. So if we had a big event, I can wheel all these back into the mobile zoo, lock them in. I can control ambient temperature in there. And then I can also control individual cages separately.
Did you make these also?
Say again?
Did you make these enclosures also?
No, so these were actually, so the gentleman that Taren was talking to you earlier about, the guy that met us in Louisiana, he's the one, he actually had a company that he specialized in building enclosures off of a CNC machine. So he actually built all these to be consistently stationary inside our mobile zoo. And then we decided after we started talking to some of the bigger conventions that we needed to be able to make them mobile to bring them in and out. So that's why they're all on wheels now. And then this is our biggest girl right here. So this is Baby. She is all of about 19, almost 20 feet, and all of about 170 pounds.
She's gorgeous.
So we do a lot of education at like after school programs. We do big parties, a lot of country clubs up like towards Charlotte and stuff. Everything we do when it's educational, we always try to use bigger species incorporated with the smaller ones, just because it kind of gives you like, she's very heavy bodied. She does pack a lot of weight, but we also have species that are, 7-8 feet long that weigh almost nothing. And it kind of, people really like to see the difference in them. So this is a larger species of argument. This is a dragnet. And then I'll actually show you some species a little closer up, but altogether, so in here alone, it's about 35 to 36. And then we also bring out every once in a while, like Mushu. Mushu used to go to the big shows with us, but he got a little too big. So now we have our baby girl here. This is Mick. Mick is a lace monitor. So it's a species of monitor that comes out of Australia. When she's fully grown, she'll be closer to 7 feet. This right here, this is the world's largest species of gecko. This is a Lucianus gecko. And we do have arachnids. We also have a crustacean in the zoo as well. We also have a zombie crab. This guy right here is a pixie frog. So this is actually a sub-adult. So when they're fully grown, they're about 10 inches in radius. Really, really cool species. You can actually see, so our corn snake actually came out of shed probably about 30 minutes ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Come here.
Hi.
I'm going to show you guys something a little more up close.
So
Oh, here we go.
Macy said hungry.
Was the hat like a distraction?
He uses it the same way that he would use like a snake hook.
Okay.
He doesn't listen and use a snake hook like he's supposed to. He uses his hat.
But that's his way of telling the snake, I'm not feeding you right now.
Exactly. That is exactly what he's doing. Just because people say that you have to tap train and use a hook, you don't have to use a hook. We use paper towel rolls. Sometimes he uses his hat, and we'll use a hook if we feel like we need to. Are their names on the green sign? Yes. Yeah, their names are on the green sign, Trash Cat.
So you guys, this is a Herp python. This is a large species. It's not the largest.
Really loud.
Tanya wants to know what corn snake came out of the shed. What was the corn snake?
Well, who came out of shed? Sherbert, our corn snake, came out of shed.
Did he strangle you on the way out?
Dude, when he told me that that's why I was getting fired, I literally couldn't believe it.
Oh my God. I'm sorry for laughing, but it really is.
No, it's funny. Oh, you're gonna do. Oh, he did. This is one of Kaylor's favorites.
who's that?
The Grant.
Yeah. Got several favorites there.
I turned you guys down a little bit so we didn't have feedback.
Sounds better, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Christmas. So the predator got on top of him, he realized he was over it and not very good. But if I smack him down, just like that. So what he's doing right now is he's building up air inside of his body. He's forcing it out his mouth, and it gives the loud sound.
Wow.
But this is all for show. So being a purebred, he is in the same category as the corn snake, a rat snake, a king snake.
He's a rat
And a
snake.
lot of you can hear him way before you see him, because if you hear him, you might redirect and think, oh, I might come across a venomous species.
No.
If you see him, you're going to realize it's a purebred. And the predator is going to go.
Wow.
Boy, snakes are so much fun.
They're so cool. I'm such a big fan of them myself. You want your hat back?
Oh, that's what it is. Huawei, one of the mods says the voice suppression's messing up your voice. I wondered what that was. Uh-oh. Now, was
Okay.
it?
Boy, that scared me.
Yeah, scared me. Let me get
All right,
back
hold
over.
on. There we go. I'm about to give this back to Easton. Hold on.
Do you have any venomous snakes?
We don't. We have rear fang venomous. So we have hognose snakes. Here.
I see them.
Um,
That's my favorite.
so we have two different species of hognose snakes. We have a giant Madagascan and we have a western. They are technically venomous. They're rear fang, but they're not classified as being like venomous. They're classified as colubrids. So this is a giant Madagascan hognose.
Wow.
Very pretty.
Yes.
There you go, Susie. She wants a hog nose,
I
but
want a hognose. Yeah, I want a western hognose.
So we have a Western here in the zoo too. He always hides.
So that's our giant Madagascan. I love these guys. They're a lot of fun. And get out of here. That was so far by today.
Now, are all your animals locked like that, or just the venomous ones?
All of them are locked like this. So every enclosure that we have has, except for the big ones that we build, every enclosure has multiple locks.
Is that because you have the public in there a lot?
So one is that, so there's our Western hognose right there.
This is Bogart.
Face. Look at that face. Oh my gosh. What's not to love?
what's his morph? What kind is he?
He's just a normal hognose. No more.
See,
He's
absolutely.
orange because of his
Western
hideous
hognose.
bedding.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
So why do we have multiple locks on our enclosures?
So we have multi-lock. One is but two, there is a state law, but it is not, it doesn't mean that you have to have multi-locks. It means that you have to have multi-locks in between the public and the injurious animals. So like you have to have, in the state of North Carolina, you have to have your animals in locking enclosures inside of a locked building, if that makes sense. So there has to be inoperable locks in between the public and your animals, and you have to have two. So one being like your facility door, two being your enclosure door. But these do have multi-locks to hold the doors up properly. Now the big enclosures behind us, those have singular locks, but it's the same thing. They're all locked. They all have a lock that we have to open with a key.
Something's
Are they
still
all-
going on with the sound. Something's
Sorry.
still going on with the sound. There's StreamYard has its own voice suppression, but you can turn it off.
How do you do that?
Just go under settings, sound, or settings, mic, and then click it.
I turn the mic off.
Yeah,
Settings,
I do that a lot
audio,
too.
echo cancellation,
Yep.
turn that off.
See if that helps.
Stop that. Okay. Is that better?
Well, right now, but it's when someone's out in front that it does it.
Okay, hold on. Let us check. I'm in front. Better?
Talk.
No?
Yeah, I think it is better.
Better?
Seems like it's better, yeah.
Okay. If it's not, we'll fix it again. All right. What am I doing now?
I think you're just kind of showing everybody that was in the zoo.
Okay. Is that what we're showing off what we're doing? More animals?
More animals.
More animals.
I'm gonna do my boy, would you know?
Did you guys see that name, Rocket Man? Rocket Man.
Rocket Man is a striped knee tarantula that is fast.
Oh. But you do like
Okay,
some hair.
I'll pass on that guy.
I usually try not to go over the tarantulas with the camera because most people are uncomfortable with them.
Wow, what a
guys, this is Scooby is a white girl monitor.
and they're very smart, right? They're very intelligent.
Huh?
Wow. What a beautiful animal.
He's one of our newest additions, but not new yet, not super new. He's still getting acclimated to larger groups, but he's adapted really well. When he gets stressed out, like I don't really care if the public is etc. I don't know, like I want to make sure he's happy and want to stay calm and everything.
Wow, his claws rival Floyd's. Look at that. Do you have to trim those, or does he?
We do trim them, yes.
Okay. Is he the one that Easton had out and they were taking a nap yesterday?
Yes.
That was so funny. He was holding him up like a baby and they went to sleep.
They both fell asleep. Easton was like, I wasn't asleep. I was like, Bull, I've got screenshots of you asleep with him.
You were drooling, Easton.
Dude, he was out. And he's like, I didn't fall asleep. I was like, no, I got a bunch of screenshots.
That's funny.
He says, I don't want to lay back right now, Dad. We're going to have to plug this in. Yeah, I got to get the cord for it. Huh? Where'd my pluggy stuff go? You moved it. Why?
He
Okay.
rested his eyes, right?
So how did you acquire most of these animals? Are these like rescues, or did you buy them?
It depends on which ones you're asking about. So we have a really big mix. Like, for example, just in the Cayman enclosure. So we'll just go over here for a sec. I'm going to talk lower so you don't get too much feedback. But basically, for the one in the very back, that's Hades. Hades we got because is that giving too much feedback, guys?
There's some
Okay.
feedback, but don't worry about it.
All right. So I can't turn that mic down. So basically, Hades came from a guy who was young, like 20, 21, who got him and then became scared of him. We traded a snake and $120 to get Hades into our care. And then beside Hades is Gustav. Gustav is a non-permanent resident. He's a friend of mine, and he's just living with us until he can go live at home, which he's been with us almost 2 years now. So, and then TikTok here, I bought TikTok. Wait, is that TikTok? That's Percy. My bad. That's TikTok. I bought TikTok when I worked for the guy that fired me for letting a corn snake strangle a child. And when he fired me, I said, he asked me to deliver all the animals to someone in Houston. And he's like, I'll pay you. And I said, well, instead of paying me, can you just let me keep TikTok? Because they couldn't have her down there anyway. So I ended up getting to keep TikTok. And then Percy here, Percy was sold for a very low price because Percy could no longer be kept because Percy wasn't producing eggs for the guy, and that's all he cared about.
Oh,
So. Just in that enclosure, we have bought animals and rescues, or animals that needed somewhere to go. Morla was bought. Morla, can you give me the cord and the plug now? Morla was bought. Morla was a gift from Easton to me. He was a Christmas present. Gaston was a surrender out of Daytona. If he had stayed in Daytona, he would have been euthanized. And Lizzie, we traded a snake for because she was not being cared for properly.
now, do usually two iguanas cohabitate fine together?
If it's a male and female or multiple females, you cannot cohab multiple males.
Okay.
This is a male and female. Gaston, our red, is a male, and Lizzie is a female, and she rules the roost in there.
And can she have babies?
She could, yes, she could lay eggs.
Wow.
Mushu was bought. Well, he was traded for, but someone was walking around a reptile show wanting to get rid of him. They sold him super cheap to a guy, and the guy wanted stuff from another guy, and we did a trade so he could get the stuff he wanted. It was weird. But Mushu came to us being a super tame Nile already. But he's Easton's baby. Like, that's one of his, like, kiddos. Houdini was a rehome. We spent $200 rehoming fee to get him with us. He came from a friend of mine who got him from a guy who could no longer handle him. Same thing with Baby. Baby, we got cash and trade to get her because the guy's girlfriend was scared of her. Agra, who is labeled Dory right now, one of our carpets, she was a full surrender. Our crab was a full surrender. Trying to think who else was a full surrender. The Beardies, Shrek and Fiona were both surrendered. Mick was donated to us because the breeder, so Mick, and you can see a little bit around Mick's vent that Mick has a little bit of a protrusion. That's because Mick has a kink right there at the base of her tail. And the breeder couldn't sell her. She's a lace monitor, so they're really expensive. He couldn't sell her for full price, so instead of selling her, he donated her to us so she could be an educational animal. And here, will you pull him out? This is the High Wizard Stubbs, who was named by one of our TikTok followers. And he was brought to me by the same friend who brought me Houdini. If we can find him, he's somewhere.
Does he like to bury himself?
He does. He's a northern blue tongue skink.
Oh, I have 3 of those.
Oh, really?
I love my blue tongue skinks.
Easton can't find him. Cool. He's in here. I
have
promise.
3 females, and I'm looking for a male.
We don't know what sex he is, but blue tongues are very interesting to breed.
Oh, look how little! He's so tiny.
So he came to me via a friend. You can tell he's also not shaped quite right. He was actually like super malnourished and had multiple layers of stuck shed on him when he was brought to me, and he's also missing a foot and part of his arm. He had stuck shed so bad that like his legs were swollen from it. My friend, I have a friend who brings me animals that he wants to sell or get something off of that he got in like trades and stuff. And when I see one that really needs us, I end up getting it from him, like Houdini, who he wasn't going to be able to find the proper home because white throats are not like easy to care for. And then Stubbs here. Stubbs was just in poor condition. And he's like, oh, you can just sell him as a rescue, sell him for $25. And I was like, no, I'll just buy him. And I handed him $25. So
now, how old do you think Stubbs is? Because mine has got to be at least 16 inches, maybe 3 inches wide, easily.
Is yours a northern?
Yes.
Okay. That's a big northern.
All 3 of my females. That's why I'm thinking he might be male.
He might be, but when we got him, like I would say he was probably less than 4 months old.
Oh, okay. He's just little.
He's just now, like he was stunted too. Like there's no way he was being fed properly because he has shed, we've had him like a month, and he shed 3 times in the month we've had him.
Oh, wow. Finally.
Now that he's eating properly, and he's put on a ton of weight.
Oh, good.
But yeah, no, he was definitely not being cared for properly by whoever produced him.
So he just might be stunted and stay small.
He might. He is growing very rapidly now, though. In the month we've had him, he's doubled in size.
Beautiful. It's got to be one of my favorite reptiles right there. The blue. You know what my favorite one is? A tegu, and I'm not allowed to have one.
Yeah, we have a permit for one because they put the ban in place here, and we got a permit before they did, but we don't have any currently.
But you could get one?
We could if it's surrendered from in-state. So if someone in-state surrenders one, we can have one. We had one surrendered to us, and they hadn't been feeding him properly, and he crashed after about a month and a half.
Aww.
So unfortunately, if you feed them, that's so gross. Can you take that? Ew, he shed it. Ew, here, have that. Nasty. Ick.
Oh, that's funny.
Slimy. Don't touch me with that. Absolutely not. Don't drop the frog either, please. So, guys, this is DJ. DJ is a pixie frog. He is not full grown quite yet. They get up to 10 inches in diameter.
Oh my gosh.
And they live up to 25 years. They're a really long lifespan amphibian.
It doesn't look like he moves much.
He does move, but he waddles. He doesn't really hop.
Do you have a lot of amphibians?
No, we have three. So we have DJ, our pixie frog. We have our creeper here, Hypno. He's a Colorado river toad, also known as a Sonoran desert toad. These guys are the ones that excrete DMT.
Ooh.
We have him. Can you open that? I want to show them how funny. So one of his defenses is that he yells at you.
Oh, I love this. I can't wait to hear this.
He doesn't scream, but see if I can get him to do it. Are you going to yell? I can't do it like this. He's not going to do it. Here. He's not getting mad.
No,
he vibrates and like chirps. It's really funny. Yeah, there you go. I don't know if you guys could hear him.
My Australian white screams at me sometimes.
He does a bark.
Oh, I hear him chirp.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I hear him.
So it's one of their defenses. But these guys are super toxic. They will make you hallucinate.
Cool. Sorry.
And then we also have a dwarf pixie. And those are our three amphibians that we have. Our dwarf pixie frog is Splat here.
Aww. Is he full grown?
He is not. He will get bigger, but not super, like not a lot bigger. I think their max is like 4 to 5 inches diameter.
Who decided to call those frogs pixie?
I know, right?
Oh, I don't know. Their other name is literally edible frog. The pixie frogs in Africa are actually a source of protein out there.
Now, did you say your enclosures were bioactive?
Mine are, I didn't say they were, but they are semi-bioactive. My desert ones are not, like my hognose isn't, my beardies aren't. But most of our other stuff, we have springtails in all the enclosures, just no isopods. What are you doing? Trying to show people springtails on camera?
While he's doing that, I'm going to check something. I'm going to take him down just a minute. We're all here. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I just abandoned my post. Okay.
Well,
Here.
I'm gonna get back on so people can see my face. Oh,
What
he's
a
gonna show you
setup.
next,
Now,
guys.
are you at home or is this like a warehouse?
So no, it's an actual storefront. So we're on Main Street in Morven.
So you don't live there?
No, we actually live just right down the road though. This is our like hometown.
Are you ever worried that somebody's going to break in?
Not really. The front of the store, we have like the cage doors that actually you can lock together, and then at the same time, nobody really messes with us.
Yeah, people are actually scared of us in the reptiles. Hold on a sec, I'll show you guys. So this is the storefront, and this is what the front looks like at night.
Okay.
So we actually have gates up around the windows, and then we have a padlock on it. But in order for you to get in here, you'd either have to cut that or you have to climb over that, which I don't think would be super fun for anybody. And our next door neighbor is our landlord's nephew, and he has cameras pointed at our facility.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, we have a couple layers. I have cameras too. I just haven't put them up yet. Because, to be honest, the worst thing that's happened to us is someone stole our garden hose. So.
I'm gonna get Nick. He wants to show you guys her pride and joy.
I saw you had a redfoot. Do you have any other tortoises?
No, just the red foot.
Okay.
So this is the lace monitor here.
Oh, how pretty.
Is that full grown?
Oh no, so fully grown's about 6 to 7 feet.
Ooh.
Oh my God.
They are the second largest lizards in Australia under the great man. Sorry, guys. The exosomes up there. Stop. But these guys, so they've been illegal to export from Australia for more than 50 years now. They're sightings. So the ones that we have in the States are all the ones we were gonna have. So there's roughly about 1,000.
That is a beautiful animal, man.
Now I see why that's named Lace. Yeah.
Say that again?
I see where it gets its name. Lace.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Bye. And you can see how her you can kind of see where her tail is.
That looks like the lizard from the Rescuers too.
A little bit.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
Have you ever left an enclosure open by accident?
Yes.
I have too. What happened with you?
All right. Are you going back to this down?
How do I switch it again?
Oh, hold on. More.
Those enclosures are gorgeous.
There we go.
Do you know how to close it out now? If you're running off with it. Okay.
All right, guys. So that's the zoo.
Some of it.
Some of it.
That's very nice.
Thank you. And a lot of people think that we're crazy and stuff because we spend a lot of our time with exotic animals, but we enjoy it.
I don't think that's crazy.
Oh, it's funny too. You'll go to the conventions and people that actually show up at the conventions, it's like you can, from their demeanor and the way they look at how we interact and the way we, like, I mean, everybody, if you have animals and stuff, you can't tell me that you've never like talked to one of your animals like a baby or, you know, like how I hold Houdini like a baby or something like that. And they can't imagine how someone could actually be that involved in that animal's life. And I love it.
I think you're just getting unmodded, Will.
Now, does North Carolina have any special rules? Like I watched Camp Kennan, and he has special laws and rules that he has to follow in case of hurricane kind of thing.
So like protocols and stuff. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
You want to switch that to me?
I don't know how to do that, Jen.
You can't.
I think you might have to switch over to Taren. Taren's going to take it.
You know, I just got this idea that maybe if you show the snake that I want, I can do some crowdsourcing. People will feel sorry for me.
GoFundMe so Bob can buy another snake. I love it.
No, they have this awesome snake that I want, but I just bought 3 snakes, so I've got to chill out for a moment.
When you get a sec, if you want to switch it to me, I can answer that law question better.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine.
I thought you were talking to him. I'm like, why is he just sitting there?
No, I was talking to you because you're the only one that can do it.
I was thinking about that snake.
Oh God, she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. So anyway, as far as the laws go, you were asking specifically for like natural disasters.
Yeah, natural disasters.
Okay. I didn't hear an answer. So we don't have anything in place that's like for natural disasters per se, but our Article 55, the way that it's written and the laws that it gives you are kind of set up to make sure that your animals are secure enough for those types of things, because we don't get a lot of hurricanes or tornadoes out here, but we do get storms and stuff. So it's basically like the double locking thing. There's a lot of counties out here that require you to have like concrete floors, things like that. So there are like regulations in how we have to house injurious species, but it's not like there's nothing specifically in place for like evacuation and stuff.
Right. Well, I think that's the same with Camp Cannon. His is outside, and if there's a storm coming, he has to have a secured building on concrete where he can move all the animals into, lock down, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
very interesting.
It's just the way that our Article 55 is written is kind of like set up to make sure those animals are secure enough that they're not going to get out. Like we can still house outside. Like some counties don't require concrete floors. Like where we're at, we don't have any requirements. So for us, as long as there's a double locking like barrier for injurious, you can still house them outside. So like if you have a fence with a lock and then an enclosure that's fully enclosed with a lock, that fits our Article 55.
Okay.
What about permitting or licenses to?
So the only thing in the state that you have to have permits for right now are alligators, because they're a protected species here and they're considered native, and the tegus, which are considered invasive. Those are the only things that there's permitting for. Everything else, you can own anything in the state of North Carolina that's not native. So they're very strict about native species. You can't own a raccoon, but you can own a coatimundi. You can't own a red fox, but you can own an Arctic fox, stuff like that. So they're pretty particular.
So is that the same with turtles?
Absolutely loved and wish you still had. No, I don't think so. Every animal that I've sold as a person who used to do sales was an animal produced to go to a new home. I've never like gotten rid of personal animals, unless it was like the case of we had like 2 animals in the zoo that didn't do well, that we found new homes because the traveling thing wasn't good for them. And I don't feel bad about that at all. But yeah, as far as like the laws here in the state, the Article 55 covers a lot of the ways that you have to house and care for these animals. And we go by that. And then every other law is county. So there's not a lot of permitting. It's more like you have to live in a county that's either okay with it or you have to abide by that county's restrictions. Like there's some counties that a private owner cannot own exotic animals or big reptiles or injurious animals, but they make a caveat for like USDA licensed facilities. Our county is one of like 3 completely open counties in the whole state.
Nice.
That's why we're talking about like marsupials and mammals. Is that the same with reptiles? Like if it's native? Like I know in Pennsylvania, I can only be in possession of one eastern painted turtle because it's native.
So here there's different laws for different stuff. The reptiles are a little bit different. Is that who I think it is?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not answering that because I think you know that answer.
Yeah. I told him you were probably going to unmod him for some of the comments he'd been putting up about you.
I've kind of ignored a lot of them. I've seen a couple come up and I was like, that's probably Will. So
Yep.
Anyway, he said he was going to come in and cause chaos. You knew this.
Right.
So anyway, the question I was just asked. The native stuff. So with the reptiles, it depends on the animal. Most of the stuff here that's native in the state, you do need like a collection permit. So like if it's bred in captivity, you need to have your paperwork. If it's collected, you have to be able to like have a permit for collection. So you have to be like legal there. As far as it goes though, most of the stuff they care about is the stuff that's protected or ESA. North Carolina is so weird because mammals, you cannot own native mammals, but it's because they're a rabies vector. So when we're talking about like deer, you can't own a white-tailed deer because it's a rabies vector. You can't own a raccoon because it's a rabies vector. That's why you can't own native here. It's not because they don't want you owning native. So the reptiles are done differently. Like there are certain protected species that you can have, but you have to get permits for, like the alligators. Same thing with like the eastern indigos. You have to have a permit here to have eastern indigos, and it's similar to getting an alligator permit, except there's more requirements on alligators.
What is an eastern indigo?
It is a species of snake that is super coveted. People love them. They're really big and black. They're like a giant black snake. But the Easterns have a red throat.
Oh, wow.
Some
Red
people compare them to cobras and call them the North American cobras. They're just
But they're
incredible.
non-venomous.
Right. They're awesome snakes.
Very big, cool Kahlua bred. Very, very neat animals. Really smelly.
Yeah, when they poop, I've heard. Ooh,
They're just like Crebos. They're stinky. They're all stinky.
shoo. Now he's whining because he's saying now that you're ignoring him.
Oh, I'd stop. I'm not even I'm not. If it's not getting pinned, I'm not seeing it. Face paint here. Oh my god.
Super smart.
I love how that's Heaven's trash. Yeah.
Yep.
Ridiculous. So Tegu's Heaven's trash. Eastern indigos are super smart. They're stupid smart, but they smell. They're really cool. Eastern wants one really bad, but out here it's easier to just get a Texas indigo, which doesn't have like the reds and isn't quite as shiny black.
Well, does anybody else have a question or comment or and I won't ask you in front of all these people to come back and do a part two. I would never put you on the spot like that.
Part two.
All right. It was awesome. It actually was a lot better than I thought it was going to go. This was their first time on StreamYard, so thank goodness they know what they're doing. And I'm sitting here like, why didn't he flip the screen back and waiting on me? So that's funny. I like your beard and I like your fangs. Okay.
Oh, it's funny.
I know you have some other animals there that you had something. It wasn't wombats. What was it? And I'm like, you have that?
Prairie dogs.
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Something else too.
Oh, the Cotamundis.
Yes.
Yes. So we do have exotic mammals. We have a pair of prairie dogs that are Eastons, and then we have a trio of Cotamundi. We have 3 of them. They're South American raccoons.
Oh, nice.
Those are cool. I've seen those like on nature shows over the years. Those are really cool.
We love ours. They're amazing.
All right. Super. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you. And guys, they're going to be such a big channel and so popular. So.
Of course, so the reason you couldn't get us on is because you're not pushy enough. You have to remind me because I forget. And you'll say it and I'll go, oh yeah, cool. And I'll go, what next thing? I just forget. You have to remind me. You got to go, Taren, you're doing it this week. Like, don't ask me anymore. Just say, hey, Taren, you're getting on live stream on Friday. Taren, live stream Friday. And then when it comes to the time at 7:15, Taren, you're on TikTok. Get off. Go to live stream.
I'll do it. I'll have to get somebody to remind me, though. It's the sad thing.
Well, that's the problem. I just forget everything. If I don't write it down, I'm going to forget it because we've always got something going on. If it's not one thing, it's another. It's like today. I managed to remember, but our power went out. Like I'm sitting here in the reptile zoo and we lost power at 5 something. It's like, are you kidding me?
Do you have a backup plan for that? Like,
yes.
You lost power for days?
No, we have a backup plan. So we do own 2 generators. We have one for our house and one for the trailer or the store, depending. So if it's not cold outside and we're not dealing with either extreme heat or extreme cold, the animals will be fine. That's not a problem. I'm not worried about that. But like right now, it's cold outside. It's going to be in the 20s tonight. If I was going into tonight with no power, we would have already moved all of the animals into the trailer. We would have tubbed the ones that had to go in tubs for the night. But everybody else would have gone in the trailer. We would have hooked them up to the generator at the house, and they would have been on that generator until that power was back on.
Okay. Hence
And
why
the
I'm
same thing, if we ever have to evacuate, same plan. Animals go in whatever they need to get in the trailer and they move.
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and thank you all again and say good night. One of our Fish Fam members, Only Oscars, goes live right after me, and I'm sure she's going to go. So I never like to go over somebody's time. So, but thank you so much. And there's still questions out there. So put it in the comments, Anthony, or save it for part 2 because we have a confirmed part 2 coming.
Yeah, no, definitely. Whenever you're ready, if it's next week, just remind me and we'll be on. We have a lot of downtime, so we're good to do it up until like mid-January.
Awesome. Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for
Thanks
having us.
Thank you so much. And thank you, panel. And
Night,
thank you,
everybody.
mods. Thank you, members. And thanks, everybody, for participating. Good night.